this wallet right here is one of the most successful wallets when it comes to receiving airdrop. Now, using blockchain, we can actually track what they're actually doing. So we can see that they're actually interacting with a lot of layer 0 protocols, which means that they potentially farming the layer 0 airdrop. Now, using blockchain, we can actually track what they're doing and copy exactly what they are doing. And upon checking the wallet, we can see that this wallet is now ranked number 7 out of, I think, just over 3 million wallets. You can see over 3 million wallets that had interacted with layer 0. So in this video, what we're going to be focusing on is we also want to be ranked number 1 in terms of the chains that we actually used on layer 0. Now, that will be just on this video alone. In the video coming up next, I'll show you guys how you can get this amount of transactions and also this amount of volume using very little money. So by the end of this video, we should be able to take our wallet here that is ranked number 3 million on layer 0, and by the end of this video, we want to take this to at least 500,000. You'll recall that on Arbitrum, about 600,000 wallets were eligible for the airdrop. So you want to make sure that you always under 100,000, or rather 500,000 wallets. So let's get started with today's video. I have prepared here a document for you guys, and I'll leave this document in the Discord group. Again, for those of you who are new here, we have a Discord group. Just head over to our Discord and you can actually find the information right here under airdrops. You can see that we do post all our research here under airdrop. Not only that, you can also see that members of our community are actually right now discussing airdrop with regards to what you can expect next. We will be touching on ZK Sync. We've also made videos on ZK Sync in the past. We also share trading ideas and signals that can help you get started in your world of trading. I think the most important thing in trading is for you to have the money, and the airdrop is one of the most easiest ways for you to get money. Then once you have that money, you can come and trade on the futures market. Obviously, that's one thing that we're focusing on this channel, but right now we just want to focus on you getting funded. Imagine you making 260% of, let's say, $5,000, $10,000, or even $20,000, and that's how much money you can make with airdrop. So let's get started by coming to our research document over here. I've spent months and months putting this document together, and if you appreciate that, make sure that you also smash the like button in this video. So let's get started here. What you need here is about $35, but maybe you use about $5 to $6 in gas fees, so the rest of the money will remain in your wallet. What I always suggest is that you use a centralized exchange for this case. So I'm just going to come here to my centralized exchange that I'm using right now, Bybit, and I want to hover over on asset and actually buy the asset that we actually gonna need. So once you on Bybit or any other exchange, what you want to do is to hover over on the spot market. So let's transfer some funds to the spot market. So like I said, we need about $35, so I'm going to transfer that to the spot market, and then we're going to purchase these funds and actually send them over on our Metamask. So now that we have our about $35 here, what we can do is to head over to spot and click on spot. Right in this document, I've already told you guys exactly the tokens that you should be buying. In this case, that we're going to be using them as native asset to actually perform these transactions. So the tokens that we're looking at that we need to buy from Bybit or any other exchange that you may be using, we're going to be purchasing Core, we're going to be purchasing Celo, and we're going to be purchasing FTM, Aptos, and BNB. And then lastly, we'll need some Ethereum, and that Ethereum needs to be either on Optimism or on Arbitrum. So again, you need to pay attention to this document. So let's get started here with step number 1. So I'm just going to come here to Bybit, and then you want to come here and hover over here. And the first thing that you want to buy is BNB. We're going to buy $5 worth of BNB. I'm just going to do this on the spot market. I'm going to spend $5 and I'll click buy. Now I will not bore you with buying all these assets. Again, the only asset that you have to buy here are listed right here. So these are the ticker symbol or abbreviations. And then, for example, you can come here and buy Fanton, and then you're going to be looking for FTM. Again, this is the first one. Click on that. I'm going to buy this at the market price, and I'll spend $5 and I'll go ahead and purchase it. You can see sometimes it doesn't want you to purchase at the market price if you're using very little amount. So what you can do in that case, you can click on limit orders and still spend your $5 that you're intending to spend. And then because we know that the market is actually trading right now at 361. So we're just going to keep it at 361 and I'm going to hit buy. You can see now this order is going to go through. However, this is going to be a limit order. So I'm going to be waiting for this to actually trigger. So while I'm waiting for that, I can go ahead and purchase the rest of the asset here. So that will be core and Celo. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to look for core. You can see our order just went through right here. So now we're looking for core and I'm just going to spend about $2 here and I'll go ahead and purchase this at the market order. I'll spend about $2 and buy it. You can see it's going through. And then the last one that you want to buy is Celo. I'm going to click on that and then spend about $2 here as well. So now we purchased about 4 of them. The only thing that we're left with is Aptos. So that's going to be APT. I believe that's the ticker symbol and that's correct. And I'm going to spend $2 as well here and click buy. And then I'll spend the rest of the funds by purchasing Ethereum. So I'm going to come here. Ethereum is going to be on top here. So I'm going to click on that. And I want to purchase with the rest of the funds that I have, which is about $19 now. That's what I'm left with. So I'm going to purchase that. Now that I've done that, I'm going to come here to my wallet and I actually want to copy my wallet address right here. Then you hover over and click on withdraw. So what we want to do is to just withdraw the funds that we have here on a spot market. I'm going to click withdraw. Then I'll start selecting these funds one by one. I'm going to start with Ethereum. Now you can see that we are left with only $2 on the spot market. I'm going to click that and now we have to withdraw Aptos. So I'm going to click here and look for Aptos APT. I'm going to select that. And then for Aptos, we're using a different wallet. So we're not using Metamask. You can see that's our Metamask over here. But for Aptos, we're looking for this wallet here, which is the Fanton wallet. I'm going to click here and actually sign up to my wallet. So from here, I'm just going to click on this icon here and copy that wallet address. Then I'll go ahead and paste it right here. Select the chain and select the amount that you want to withdraw. All right, so now we've done all our withdrawals. The next step is to actually come back to this document over here because we have all the withdrawals that we wanted to do. The next step, what you want to do, if you haven't done this already, you need to click on this icon here and add these networks on your MetaMask if you haven't done so already. So come here and click on add to MetaMask. The other way that you can do it is that you can look at these blockchains that I had listed here. And then what you want to do is to come to your MetaMask, then click on these 3 dots here, click on settings, then click on networks, then click add networks. You will then see a list of networks. Obviously, I've already added mine, but these are the networks here. For example, if this is what you wanted to add, you just click on add network and then click approve, and that network will be then added to your MetaMask. So that is how you do it. So after you've done that, click dismiss. You'll see all these blockchains that we just added will be here on this list. So now we are good to get started with this video. So now let's get started with step number 1. You may recall that for Gnosis network, we actually didn't purchase that on a centralized exchange. That's simply because it doesn't exist. Gnosis uses something called XDIA for transaction fees. Now to actually purchase this, what we have to do is to click on this link. That will take us to SushiSwap. Now you don't have to use cross-chain, so don't click on this cross-chain yet. What you have to do here is to buy DAI. So I'm going to click on DAI here and then we'll swap that. So now that we've done that, the next thing is to come back to this link. Now we need to click on this second link here, and that's going to take us to the Hope Exchange. From here, you want to select DAI here on top. So I'm going to click that, and here I'll select Arbitrum because that's where I'm moving the money from. And then here I want to bring this to Gnosis. You can see our DAI then becomes XDIA. I'm going to click next and click approve. Then I'll go ahead and send this. So this may take some time. It may take about 10 to 25 minutes. That's why I'm actually starting with this step, because it does take a lot of time. But I had went ahead prior to recording this video. You can see that it will arrive in 12 minutes. So we can just leave this here and go back to our document over here. We can also come to this website here to track our transactions on a blockchain. For example, if I click here, you can see that this is the transaction that we just did now on Hope Exchange. Now let's come back to our document here. We can see what we have to do is to send 0.0015 worth of Ethereum, and we're sending this to AVAX, and then we're gonna send this to Matic and also the Optimism network. So you can do this by either using SushiSwap or WooFinance. So let's get started maybe with SushiSwap. Click on that link. And in this case, we want to use cross-chain. Already we're starting to interact with LayerZero, so we want to click on cross-chain over here. And then from the top, we're going to be on Arbitrum. And then from here, we want to move this to, let's get started. The first one here is going to be AVAX. So I'm going to click Avalanche. And then I want to purchase some Avalanche. And then here, we set it's 0.0015. You can see we're moving about $2. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just swap this. You can see this uses Stargate, which obviously uses LayerZero. If you click on that, you'll be able to track that on the blockchain. We can do all the transactions here, but also you can click on this next link here using WooFinance. If I click on that, and then the next thing, what we want to do is to move the same amount, 0.0015, and buy Matic, and also bridge that over to Optimism. So we can do it also on this one here. For example, I'm going to bring this to Polygon Matic, and I will bring 0.0015. And here we can see the route of this transaction. So this is going to be using Stargate as well, which uses LayerZero technology. So I'm going to click on swap and confirm swap. And you can see here the duration. This is going to take about a minute to complete this transaction. You can always click on this icon here to track as to how the transaction is going. So just be patient. Obviously, I'm doing this at one go. You don't have to do this on a single day. Maybe you can split this video in terms of 2 to 3 days. That will actually work in your favor, because you always want to show that you are a real user. Obviously, for me, this is a test wallet, by the way. This right here is this wallet address that we're using right now. By the end of this video, we want to take this wallet to be ranking at least under 500,000. You'll recall that with Arbitrum airdrop, about 600,000 wallets were eligible for the airdrop. So we want to make sure that we get this number to be at least under 500,000. So that is going to be possible by the end of this video. You can come here, you can see that everything is now done successfully. You can always click here to view the status of this transaction, and you'll be able to see that this uses a LayerZero technology and it was delivered. You can always track your transactions here, and you can see this is the transaction that we just did using WooFinance. So that is nice, because we're also using different smart contracts, but we'll cover that on videos that are coming up in the future as well. So let's come back here. The last one we want to do is to bring that 0.05 ETH to the Optimism network. You can always do it here. So I'm going to click out of that, and then I'm just going to change this to Optimism, and then I want to change this to Ethereum. So I'm just going to say 0.00, I think 15. I can't really recall what was the number. That's correct. And I'll go ahead and click swap, confirm. And again, this will take about a minute. So while this is taking that minute, what we can do is to move on to the next task here on our list. So by us doing these transactions above here, we have already interacted with LayerZero, and we had now positioned ourselves for the airdrop, but it just doesn't end there. Let's move on to the next step. And the next step is going to be using these networks. Now we're going to be starting to interact with these networks, each network at a time. So step number one is the Arbitrum network. So we want to buy some USDT to Polygon. So what we can do, we can always come here to WooFinance, or you can come to this one here. You can see it's showing us that it did complete the previous transaction. So we're going to change this to Polygon. Again, all these are cross-chain swaps. And then we want to buy about $1 worth of USDT. So I'm going to change this to USDT. And here I'm going to say 0.000. So now we have about 1.3 US dollars. I'm going to click on that and then I'll swap this. So what do we mean by breaking transactions? If you recall that all the transactions that we've been doing here are basically just on LayerZero. So that is sort of like suspicious. It's not normal. You're not a normal user if you're just doing transactions on LayerZero alone. So what you need to do is to break transactions by doing something completely different. So that could be just waiting a day and doing a random transactions on PancakeSwap. But obviously I've gathered some information, some links here that you can use whereby you necessarily won't be paying that much. I'm going to show you in a moment what exactly you can do. I'm going to show you how to also just be careful because there are a lot of scams here. You can see it with this wallet address, not this one here. So this is what I want to show you guys, because sometimes as you dive into this world of trying to make money, people will try to take advantage of you. So within your wallet, you'll receive these things. People will say, scammers will send you these things called NFTs and all that stuff. So these are things that you shouldn't interact with. So if you see just random thing on your wallet that says you have X amount of money, you can see here, it says you have USDC or whatever the case may be. You can see here it says scam transaction. Do not interact with that because it's going to drain your wallet. It will pull money out of your wallet. You can see that's what these guys are doing. They try to send you these things. They just send randomly on the blockchain. And if you're not careful, you go ahead and claim this thing. You can see here it says 100,000 of this whatever token. So if you are desperate, you'll go ahead and try to claim that and you lose a lot of money in a process. So just be careful of these things. You can see there are a lot of them here. They always try to send on your wallet. So anything that you know that you basically didn't interact with, don't just go and claim airdrop that you don't know of. Just always be careful on the internet because these people will try to take advantage of you. I want to show you this one. If you hover over here, you can see it says 5,000 voucher USDC. So you may be thinking, you know what, I'm going to get $5,000. Let me go ahead and interact with it. The more that you actually click on that and approve, you actually approving them to drain your wallet, to have access to your wallet. So just be careful with that. So with that being said, let's come back here. So basically what we're doing here is to try to break transactions. So what we can do, we can wait, let's say a day, 24 hours or 48 hours to do the next transaction. But the best thing to do is to use a different blockchain. For example, you can come here to SyncSwap. If you are on LayerZero or ZK Sync, you can come here and use this because this uses a different technology or different blockchain. Not only that, you can also just come to 1inch and do a random transaction on 1inch. Let's look for a very, very cheap blockchain. In this case, we can look for Avalanche, for example. I'm going to switch to that. We're now just using a completely different, website and different smart contract. So from here, I want to purchase maybe USDT or USDC. I'm going to click that. And then I'll spend 0.00. I'll go ahead and just swap that. You can see we're paying very little fees here on gas fees. So you can use that to break your chain. You can see this is done. I'm going to close out of that. To break your chains, you can also come back to this website, which is SushiSwap. But instead of using cross-chain, just click on swap and then change this. Let's say use core blockchain. So right at the end, you'll find core blockchain. That is also very cheap. I'm going to click switch to that blockchain. What we can do is just we can spend 1 core to buy USDT and swap that around. So now what we're doing is something that has nothing to do with LayerZero. For example, you can see this is 0.001 in gas fees. So it's very, very cheap. And you can break chains by doing that. And also what you can do is to just do random withdrawals from your Bybit. So you can come to your Bybit account over here and just do a random withdrawal, to your wallet, or actually deposit from your wallet to Bybit and back and forth like that. Just break transactions in between. Don't just do LayerZero only. So now that we know how to break chains, let's assume that maybe this is a day later. Let's go ahead and use now the second network, which is going to be Avalanche. So we need to purchase some BTC on Avalanche. We need to buy 0.0001. I'm going to copy that and click on Joe, which is this link here. Make sure that you are under Avalanche. If not, switch your network. So I'm going to click that, and here I want to select BTC. So I'm going to select BTC, and here I'll put that 0.0001. And I'll go ahead and swap this. So you can see that was done successfully. Let's go back to our list. Now we need to bridge the very same BTC that we just bought. So we're going to use a different smart contract. I'm going to click on that. Make sure your wallet is connected. So we're going to be moving this from Avalanche, and we'll move this to Polygon. Click on that and then click Max, then click transfer. Go ahead and confirm that. You can see these transactions are very cheap on Avalanche. So just confirm that. You can see this was done successfully. If you click here, you'll see this also uses LayerZero, but it's going to take some time to go through. While we wait for that, let's move on to the next step, which is using Polygon network. You may recall that we purchased some USDT from Arbitrum to Polygon network. So that's what we're going to be using in this step. Just click on this link that is provided here. Always make sure that you're only interacting with links that are provided here. Don't go and Google these things, because you will interact with scam website. Click enter here, and then from here we want to select Polygon. Switch network, and because we already have some USDT on Polygon, what we want to do is to buy agEUR. So here I'm going to spend USDT, and it will show up right here, and then you want to select max, and it will give you the quantity that you will get on agEUR. Go ahead and approve this. Now this doesn't use LayerZero for it now. We just want to purchase the asset that we're going to be using later on. Now let's go ahead and swap this. Now that was done successfully. So what we have to do now is to click on bridge. So just make sure that everything was completed here, or else you may get an error. Yeah, now we can see that was done successfully. So click on this icon here where it says bridge. Here you can see that I've already done this prior to me recording this video, because I wanted to make sure that we don't waste time. So what you need to do here, we can just exit out of these. What you need to do here, make sure that you're under Polygon. Then from here, you select the network that you want to bridge to. So we're going to be first bridging to, let's look at the document. We're going to be first bridging to Celo network. Then later on, we'll do Gnosis. So let's go ahead and do those. So first, I'm going to select Celo. And if you click max here, you can see we've got that one, but we can just do 0.5. So I'm going to say 0.5 and go ahead and approve this. Click next, approve. Now you need to click bridge. Now this is now using LayerZero technology. I'm going to confirm this. So here you can see it's moving from the original blockchain, and then it's moving over using LayerZero to the destination chain. But this may actually take a while. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click other this, and you can see that it is pending over here. Let's go ahead and do the next step, which is moving to the Gnosis blockchain. I'm going to click on that. You can see it's actually going through over here. And then I'll click max, which is the rest of the funds that I have. I'll go ahead and approve this. Approve here as well. Then from here, you need to click, I don't know why it says approve twice, because we already done that. We need to click bridge. So just be careful. It is very slow. Maybe it's just because I have so many browsers opened right now. I'm going to click confirm. That does the very same thing as well. So what we're doing is that we're moving from Polygon and moving that over to Gnosis blockchain. But in between, this uses LayerZero technology. Again, LayerZero uses side chains that actually facilitate these transactions. So I'm going to exit out of this as well. You can see these are two transactions that are pending over here. So if we refresh this page, maybe one of them will be done. I'm not sure. you can see it says it's still pending. However, because I had already done this prior to me recording, what I can do in this case is to bridge this around. So I'm going to click this icon. So what I'm doing now, I'm moving from Gnosis, click that, and I want to move that to Polygon network. I'm going to click on max. You can see that's the 0.5 that we just did earlier on. I'm going to go ahead and approve this. So now we're moving it to Gnosis back to Polygon. Now we just wait for this to say bridge. I don't know why this is somehow slow. Now we can click on bridge, confirm. You can see now it's moving from Gnosis and back to Polygon. Now again, this uses a LayerZero technology. I'm going to click out of that. You can see we've got 3 transactions pending. What we can do now is to move the funds that we have on Celo. So just scroll down, click on Celo network, switch networks, and do the exact same thing. Now let's move back to Polygon. This is the last step that we're doing here. Approve this. Now I'll click bridge. You can see the first one is actually now complete. We'll jump on that later on. You can see this one is now complete. If you click on that, you'll be able to see that it went from this blockchain using LayerZero back to Polygon. If you click on that, you'll be able to see the LayerZero scan. So it just exits out of that and basically just wait for everything to complete. So once everything is complete, that's when you can come back to buy over here. So basically what you're doing in this case, you need to purchase, you need to bridge it back to Polygon, right? So I'm going to click Polygon and switch networks. And what we're looking for is to swap this around for USDT. Select that and click max. And basically the $1 that we just brought in from the beginning, we need to exit with that. Let's approve this and click swap. And that's all that we had to do on this step. Let's move on to our document. Maybe let's just exit out of this as well. Let's move on to our document and basically where we were. So we were using the Polygon network, which was step 3. We have done all these things already. So that's what we're doing. We did all this. So now we can go ahead and use the Binance Smart Chain. So for Binance Smart Chain, we need to have some sort of USDT or USDC from Binance or to the core network. So what you can do is to purchase, again, this, we can use this to break a chain. Go to PancakeSwap because that's going to be using a completely different smart contract and a different blockchain. Switch wallets and make sure that you are under BNB. From here, you can use the BNB that we just brought in from Bybit to purchase some USDT. So I'm going to click USDT, or you can select USDC. It's up to you. Let's do 25%, which is going to be $1 point something. I'm going to go ahead and swap this. Confirm. And now what we need to do is to click on this where it says process to the core DAO bridge. I'm going to click on that. And then from here, what you want to do is select USDT. This is the USDT we just bought now on PancakeSwap. I'm going to select this and then I'm going to select max. Let's go ahead and approve this. Now I'm going to be diving into more details with regards to this in the next video, because in the next video, we're going to be covering how to get higher transaction count as I showed you earlier on in this video. So now that is approving. Now the nice thing is that this is going to be one of the cheapest. I actually wrote it down here on a document, but we'll cover that in future videos. I want to click transfer. Again, this is using a LayerZero technology, and the nice thing is that we already use PancakeSwap by breaking chains. So if you click here, you'll be able to see this is using LayerZero as well. Again, guys, I put a lot of effort into doing this research about LayerZero project. So if you really appreciate that, make sure that you give a like in this video. So while we're waiting for that to be done, basically on next step here, it's very simple, because what we just did is that we used the Binance Smart Chain. Now we need to use the core blockchain. But what we're going to do in this case is just waiting for that transaction to complete. So again, you can wait a couple of hours for this to complete, but this will actually take about a minute. And then once it is complete, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do in a moment, because that's going to be step number 7. And then we are almost done, guys. Again, we can come to this website to look at the transactions that we're actually doing. Let's go ahead and refresh that. You can see we already received these funds on the core network. So that's good. You can see all these transactions that we're doing here. Again, guys, be careful of those scam transactions. So just be careful with that, and make sure that when you're interacting or you want to get the airdrop, make sure that your wallet is old. For example, this wallet is 365 days. So just make sure that you're using an old wallet. Don't just use a wallet that you just created today. So what we can do is to come back to the core DAO here. I'm just going to toggle this thing here. I'm going to click on this icon, which is going to bring the core on top, and I'm going to click max. And then I'll then go ahead and approve this. Now I'm transferring this back to the Binance Smart Chain. Again, guys, you don't have to do this in one day, because you're basically not a real user if you do that. So you need to have some intervals between these transactions. I'm just using this for a YouTube video. I'm not necessarily planning to get an airdrop with this wallet or anything like that. It's just for educational purposes only. Again, if we click here, we can see this is using LayerZero. And now we can see we're moving from core to Binance Smart Chain. I'm going to exit out of this. This is actually very fast, guys. It's actually very, very fast. So we're done with step number 7. Now we move on to step number 8. And that is using the Fanton network. We need to transfer USDT from Binance Smart Chain to Fanton. But in this case, we won't be transferring to USDT. We'll be transferring to USDC. And now we're using a different smart contract, and that is going to be Stargate. So go ahead and click on this link. Again, guys, always use the links that are provided in this document. You can just get the document from our Discord. To be part of our Discord is free. Just go to vocedesigner.com. Make sure that you sign up using our link, and you have funded your account. Then you get to our Discord absolutely free. So here we select Binance Smart Chain, and then from here we want to select Fanton. Click max. Now you can see the funds are here. I'm going to click transfer and switch networks back to Binance Smart Chain. Again, here you are being charged some transaction fees, but it's not a lot if you're using just micro transactions. However, if you're moving big funds, you'll notice that you'll be charged a lot, maybe from $1 even up to $5, depending on how much money you're moving. So I'm going to confirm that. Okay, now it's going through and it's going to be done in 1 minute. So what we need to do now is basically we are on step number 8, and we're just completing that. And then what you will do is to break chains. In this case, I can just take a break, or I can use different activities on the blockchain. For example, I can withdraw or deposit to Bybit. What I can do, I can just transfer, let's say 1,200 from derivatives to spot. 1,205, just to cover some transaction fees as well, and confirm that. And then I'll just go ahead and withdraw this. I'll copy my wallet address here. I'll withdraw this using Binance Smart Chain. So that is also me breaking a chain. I'll move these funds back on my wallet. I'm just showing you guys that you can do other activities on the blockchain to just move away from just doing one thing on LayerZero. So I believe that this is now complete. You can see that is now complete, and we can now move on to the next step. Again, we were doing step number 8. We can break a chain by, let's say, using SushiSwap. Make sure that you're under, let's say, core blockchain, because it's very cheap. I want to switch to that, and I'm gonna move one core to USDC. I'm gonna go ahead and swap that. You can see this cost almost nothing. So It's nice that you're breaking a chain by not necessarily spending a lot of money. You can see this is done. Again, you can always come to this website, guys, to view the transactions. You can see this is the transaction that we just did now, and this is the withdrawal from Bybit. This is the amount that we withdrew, and this is the last one that we did on Stargate. So that's two activities of breaking a chain. Obviously, you can see that my intervals here are very, very small, within a minute or so. So that is dangerous. Again, this is just for this video because I want to get it out so quickly. I promised you guys this video a very long time ago. So now let's move on to using Optimism network. So let's come back to step number 9, and step number 9 is to use Optimism. So under Optimism, basically what we have to do is to move USDC from Fanton network and actually move that to Optimism, then move that USDC from Optimism to Arbitrum. So to do that, just head over to Stargate and just click on the link provided. And like I said to you guys, always make sure that you're only interacting with the links that we provided on this document. From here, you want to select Fanton and we're moving USDC, and we want to move this to Optimism network. And I'm going to click Max and click Transfer. Switch networks. I'll confirm this, and this should take about 30 seconds. And then what we need to do once this is complete is move on to this link here that I provided here and click on this Woo Finance, because we need to then do this exact step in order for us to be eligible for using Optimism on LayerZero. So from here, you want to make sure that you under Optimism, but let's just wait for this to finish in order for us to, okay, now this is complete. You can see it was done successfully. I'm going to click out of that and then come back to this link that we just opened. From here, I want to make sure that I switch my network to Optimism. Then what I want to do here is to move USDC from Optimism. You can see the funds are now here on Optimism. I want to move this to Arbitrum, and I'm just going to click Max here. And then I'll go ahead and just approve this. You can see that this route is using Stargate. Again, Stargate is under LayerZero. Go ahead and approve that. And you can see this is the route that I was talking about. So once this is done approving, you can see here on top, it says pending. So just give it a minute or so and it should be done. And you can see it was done successfully. Then we can swap and confirm our swap. This one here takes a little bit longer, and that's why perhaps you're paying a little bit of gas fees on Stargate as compared to any other protocol that is running on LayerZero. But also 2 minutes is nothing compared to obviously the amount of money that you can get with airdrops. So now while we're waiting for this, you can actually come here and see all your transactions that you're performing on LayerZero. Not only on LayerZero, but basically anything that is your wallet is interacting with. Like I said, guys, you want to make sure that your wallet is old. You can see this wallet is over 363 days, just about a year old. So you can see now we've done this transaction here and we're just waiting for that to complete. And you can see this was done successfully. Again, if you click on this icon here, you'll be able to view this on the Blockchain Explorer. You can see this was broadcast using the LayerZero technology and the funds were delivered. So let's move out of that and go back to our list. This is now step number 10. Basically, what we want to do here is to use the Base network. Now, there is a potential airdrop on Base. So by us bridging, again, guys, if you've been watching our channel, you must have already bridged using the Base network. But if this is your first time, this is what we have to do. So just make sure that you have about $9 worth of Ethereum and just click on this link and go to Orbiter. Again, Orbiter themselves may do an airdrop in the future. We're just not sure when exactly that's going to happen. And from here, you want to toggle this around. Make sure that you have Arbitrum on top and click here and click Base network. From here, I'm just going to say Max. And then I'll send the funds over to the Base network. Confirm that. And then go ahead and click this icon again to confirm your transaction. Now you can see the funds are moving from the Arbitrum blockchain to the Base network. Again, this may take about a minute or so. So I'm just going to cut to that part of the video where everything is actually done. All right, so we're almost done with all the interactions here on LayerZero. The last step was going to be using Aptos bridge. And the last one here is DFK chain. I've already have a video that is covering this, so I will not be doing this. And basically we just left with one step right here. But before we do that, what we want to do is to make sure that we're using, again, a little bit of AVAX. So we want to make sure that you're using the base network on LayerZero. So just come here and see everything is now complete here. So the next step is to move to SushiSwap. Basically now you don't have to be using cross-chain swap. So just click on this link and go to SushiSwap and just make sure that you're not on cross-chain. I'm going to click enter app, and then I'm going to click swap instead of cross-chain, and I'm going to move my network here and move it to base. Basically I want to have some USDC on the base network. Then I'm going to take my Ethereum and convert that into USDC. So I'll do 0.0009, which will give me about $1.41. I'm going to go ahead and swap that. And this one is going to be fairly fast because it's not a cross-chain swap. You can see it is now complete. So again, what's the next step here on our document? The next step is to head over back to Stargate and then convert that USDC from the base network to Avalanche. Basically that will actually qualify us from using Stargate. So I'm going to come here, or rather from using base network. Let's just go ahead and refresh this. From here I'm going to select the base network on top. Then I'm going to select that USDC and I want to move this to Avalanche. I'm going to click max. You can see this is the exact tokens that we just swapped now on SushiSwap. I'm going to go ahead and convert, or rather transfer this. Approve that. All right, so while we're waiting for this to finish, we can jump on to the last step here, which is using the Aptos bridge. Again, this is a different smart contract. So remember that in the beginning of this video, we bought some BTC. So just go ahead and just click on that. And basically here, I already have a transaction that is ongoing. Like I told you guys, I had already recorded this, but the audio got messed up, so I had to re-record it. But I'm going to show you what you need to do here. Just make sure that you have your both wallets connected. All right, so I almost forgot that here you must, install this Chrome browser wallet. So that will work hand in hand with your Metamask. So just come back here. Remember that we bought some BTC, so you'll select those BTC. You can see I already have this transaction. You'll move them from the Polygon network. So you select BTC on a Polygon network, and then you move that to Aptos. So you select Aptos network here and you move those BTC, and then you can do that transaction back and forth. That's the only thing that you have to do. Again, guys, we'll have more videos coming up in the future. And then, like I told you guys, if you can now come here to this wallet here and click update, you can see this wallet went from being ranked just about 3 million to 225,000. And you can see that we actually have 2 months now, because I actually started recording this video about 4 days ago. And you can see if I click here, and this is now the 5th. So that's why it's picking up that it's got 2 months, because I started on the last day of the month. So you can see that we have now accumulated over 51 transactions. Now, the reason why we have 51 transactions is simply because I had already recorded this video and I had to re-record it on the same wallet. But doing this task will give you about 31 transactions on LayerZero. And then if you do it twice, maybe in a space of 2 to 3 months, you should have about 60 transactions on LayerZero. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how you can generate more volume with using very little money. So if you have about, let's say, $500, you should be able to get at least $10,000 to $50,000 in trading volume. If you recall that on Arbitrum, you had to have a lot of trading volume in order for you to get, or rather accumulate, a lot of Arbitrum tokens. All right, so before you go, just make sure that you head over to vusidesigner.com. That's when you can actually follow these steps and provide us with your UID and your email address. Just make sure that you've signed up, you created your account using our link, and you have at least $100 deposited on your account. Again, this is your money. The only thing that we want is to make sure that we're providing our research documents like this one here to people who are serious about, the subject of making money. So we want people to actually have their account funded, and that's all that you need to do. After that, you'll then be able to get a one-time clickable link directly to our Discord group. I am at Vusidesigner. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye. Peace.